Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new Ninjago video here on the channel. My name is TannerFishies. In today's video, we are going to be discussing some new statements brought to us by Ninjago series head writer Doc Wyatt over on Blue Sky. He has recently answered a few Ninjago fan questions, and as usual, we are going to be discussing some of his answers because I do find them to be very interesting. He has recently commented on a few things, including whether or not Lee himself is an elemental master of some kind, an update surrounding the events of Ninjago Legends monstrosity and how that could tie into Dragons Rising Season 4, and he has discussed the ever-growing fan theory that Thunderfang is indeed the master of Lord Ras. More on that momentarily too. Feel free to stick around, it's going to be one of those videos with multiple subjects here. So first, let's talk about the character of Lee as seen in Dragons Rising, well, Season 3. Someone asks this question, everyone wants to know, is Lee an elemental master? Is he even human? Doc Wyatt replies, Lee is not an elemental master. Yeah, so from what I could see, a lot of people assumed that Lee was an elemental master just because of his ability to duplicate himself, and that power being very similar to the elemental power of Figment. I've seen theories that maybe Lee was the previous master of Figment, but somehow retained some of those powers, passing it on to whoever this guy was from the Tournament of the Sources, but again, still retaining some of those abilities. Or maybe like Fire and Heat, or Earth and Quake, the power of Figment and whatever Lee's power is are just similar powers that do similar things, yet they are different. Well, Lee does not have an elemental power, and duplicating himself is just kind of something that Lee can do, as Doc Wyatt has confirmed here that Lee is in fact not an elemental master. But speaking of Lee, someone asks this question, which I find to be very intriguing, is Lee like the Preeminent, where he is the realm of Lee and the realm of Lee is Lee himself? To which Doc Wyatt replies, what a good, very interesting question that I'm not going to answer. Yeah, so ultimately, whenever Doc Wyatt decides to not answer a question, usually it's because it has something to do with upcoming events and how his answer could spoil said upcoming events. So I almost wonder if this question will be addressed at some point in the show, and honestly, I think it probably should. Lee being the only person in the realm of Lee before the merge, that is a very, very interesting concept in my opinion, and Dragons Rising Season 3 barely touched on it. The season talked about how Lee was very much lonely in this realm, being the only inhabitant, but why was Lee the only one there? Again, is it a preeminent situation where the preeminent is the cursed realm, and the cursed realm is the preeminent? Maybe like the preeminent, Lee is the realm of Lee, and the realm of Lee is Lee himself, like this question states. Again, I very much think that's at least possible, and I do find it interesting that Doc Wyatt can't answer this question. Makes me think it's going to be addressed at some point in the future, and honestly, I really hope it does. Maybe Lee is more important than we as Ninjago fans suspect. I really enjoyed Lee as a character in Season 3 Part 2. Again, really hope he comes back, and I really hope we get more of his backstory addressed at some point. Would love to find out more about this character and why he is the way that he is. Moving on here to a couple of questions about the Land of Monsters, someone asks this question, will Kai ever tell the rest of the ninja about his time in the Land of Monsters, and will we see the Land of Monsters in Dragons Rising? Doc Wyatt replies he's told them already, but no spoilers on the other two. Okay, so Kai has revealed his past in the Land of Monsters to the rest of the ninja. In the Kai's Monstrous Journey series, we even saw him telling the story to Wildfire. Maybe after that storyline he decided to tell the rest of the ninja, maybe he told them before Wildfire, but regardless, the other ninja know. But no spoilers on the other two questions, one of which again being, will we see the Land of Monsters in Dragons Rising? This goes back to the idea that Kai, Jay, and Nia ended up in the Land of Monsters following the events of Season 3 Part 2 and its ending. And again, I could totally see that theory actually happening because the place that they ended up in does look a little bit scary, a little bit dark, a little bit murky, very similar to the Land of Monsters, so I would not be surprised if again this was the Land of Monsters. I think that would also give Kai a nice full circle moment as he tries to navigate navigate the land of monsters again, but this time with help from Jay and Nia. We have a similar question here about Daiden. Could Daiden have another child in the future? Is Daiden's dragon tribe and Arc Dragon still around? Will we see Daiden in the future? Doc Wyatt replies yes, unknown, and no spoilers. So Daiden could have another child. Daiden's dragon tribe being around still is unknown, and no spoilers as to if we will see Daiden in the future. Again, though, I feel like if, going back to this idea that Kai, Nia, and Jay did end up in the land of monsters, if they really did, Daiden herself could totally appear again and help out Kai and the rest of the ninja. Again, would be a nice reunion for Kai and Daiden, and it would also be a nice full circle moment as well. Again, I'm still kind of holding out hope that this place is a new realm altogether and is not just the land of monsters again, but if it is the land of monsters, I would not mind seeing Daiden back again. I think that could be awesome for Kai's character especially. And finally here, we have this question: why didn't Ras try to join Thunderfang's forces? To which Doc Wyatt replies, Thunderfang could never offer what Ras's master has to offer. Okay, so this again builds off of the idea that Lord Ras's master is Thunderfang. I've seen that theory floating around my comment section a lot over the past few days. This very much confirms that that theory is officially debunked. Thunderfang is not the master of Lord Ras because apparently the master of Lord Ras can offer more than what Thunderfang offers. The Forbidden Five were very much loyal to Thunderfang because Thunderfang promised them a great deal of power. Lord Ras never received that promise, and even if he did, he wouldn't have taken it more likely than not because his master is even greater than Thunderfang. Like I said, this pretty much debunks the idea as well that Thunderfang is the master of Lord Ras. I know other people have said that in the past, that maybe that would be the case. I never thought that they had any type of connection. Obviously, Lord Ras was after the Forbidden Five for a while there, but not because he wanted to get to Thunderfang. Thunderfang was the Forbidden Five's whole plan. Lord Ras wanted the Five to progress in his master's plan, not so much Thunderfang's situation. So again, never really bought that idea. Very glad that it's officially debunked here that Thunderfang is officially not the master of Lord Ras. Again, kind of expected that, but it's nice to get the confirmation of who Lord Ras's master isn't, following a bunch of hints that we've been receiving lately regarding who it could be. With that being said, everybody though, feel free to leave all of your thoughts, opinions, theories, all of that good stuff down below in the comments regarding not only the Thunderfang not being Lord Ras's master answer, but all of the answers from Doc Wyatt that we discussed in today's video. What exactly do you think about what Doc Wyatt said here? Are you looking forward even more now to the future of Ninjago Dragons Rising? And what exactly did you think of this video? Leave all of your thoughts down below in the comments. Hopefully you enjoyed this one. If you guys did, feel free to like and subscribe. Do all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys again very, very soon. Peace.